Imagine turning an ordinary photo into something that feels very cinematic, not by piling on effects and hoping that something sticks, but by making calmer, more confident color choices. What if lookup tables weren't just shortcuts or presets to hide behind, but tools for developing taste, restraint, and intention in your edits? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use LUTs or lookup tables thoughtfully so that your color grading supports the story you're telling rather than overpowering it. So what is a lookup table, or a LUT as they're usually referred to? It's simply a set of instructions that tells your editing software, depending on which software you use, when you see this color and this tone, shift it to that one instead. Look, it's oversimplifying it, but basically that's how it works. So it's not a filter painted over the top of your image, and it's not guessing. It's a very precise color translation. That's why LUTs can feel cinematic. They often use these in films to rely on consistent color relationships in movies. Various movies, Star Wars, Harry Potter, you name it, Stranger Things, they all have their own sort of lookup tables that they use. But that precision is also why LUTs need a little restraint. If you push them too hard, the image can feel false, unbelievable, if you will. So we'll leave it there for the moment, because once we get into it, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm also going to be just talking about built-in LUTs in Photoshop and things like Luminar Neo. Here's just a little thought. If you can't make a great image with the lookup tables you already have, buying more isn't going to fix it. So let's just start off simple and work with what we've got. The built-in lookup tables are usually deliberately conservative, although there are some that are over the top, which makes them perfect for learning to have a little bit of creative restraint. So what a lookup table actually does is it adds a look to your images. They feel cinematic when used lightly, and they can look awful when they're pushed too far. They're different from filters, which just sort of go over the top of your image. Lookup tables edit on a different level. And once you've applied them, you can't really edit the table as such, but you can change the opacity and the blend mode. But before you jump in, there are a few things that you need to look at. You need to make sure that your image is well exposed first and your white balance is correct to start with. Then you can apply a lookup table to your image, and even though it may go wildly one way or another, you have a base image to start with. Let's go open an image and we're going to have a look, and I'm going to show you where they are in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you where they are in Luminar Neo as well, because they can add some really good LUTs to your image, but they do call them something else. Okay, so let's have a look at this image here, which is quite cinematic already with all the red. I had the red background, red outfit, all the rest of it. So what I want to do is I want to take it and make it even more cinematic by adding a lookup table. So Photoshop comes with some lookup tables. So if you click on your filters and things here, you will see color lookup, and that's what we're looking for. And I'm just going to go with the ones that are already loaded. So there's things like this 3-strip look, which can also add something to it. There is some that just aren't going to work. They're just too strong, bleach bypass. They look great in other images, but perhaps not this one. Drop the blues out entirely. That's another one that even at 100% looks fabulous. So we can have a look at quite a few. This is another one that looks really, really good. But what I want to do is I want to change the blend mode. I want to change the opacity. So I'm going to start looking at different blend modes. I love what it's doing here. A little dark, but we can fix that. Lighten, probably too much screen, too much. Remember, when they're at 100%, they're probably not going to do you any favors. I do love that multiply, so I'm going to put that on and I'm going to bring the opacity back to, I'm going to maybe go to say 50%. I can always increase the brightness or the curves on that. So I'm just going to increase the brightness a little bit. So this is before and this is with the lookup table. So that is set to multiply at 50%. Now, if it's gone a little orange on the skin tone, I can, of course, it's got an already set mask on there. I can come in with my brush, set to black, and I can paint the lookup table off her skin tone so that I haven't sort of got that orange look about her. Almost like a really bad fake tan she got there. But there you go. So that's taken that off. And if I go to backsplash, I can see where the mask is. And I can paint that in. I don't want it on the makeup or her lips, but quite happy to put it on all her skin tone. Okay, so from there it's probably a bit too bright on her face as well, so I'm just going to take it off. Just going to mask the brightness off her face and arm there. Now you don't have to stop there because you can add lookup tables. So if I go back into lookup table and let's have a look at some of the other ones, perhaps there's some, if I wanted to go for a midnight look, again, I could drop that back. Another one that I'm quite fond of is teal plus orange, although it's probably a bit too stark on this particular image. And all of these lookup tables are non-destructive. So you can just go through, you can drop blues. This is another one that was really nice. This is the Fuji Eterna. That's another one that's really nice as well. Just gives some lovely sort of depth to the image. And you can stack them up. So if I was to turn around and perhaps put this on colour, and set that at about 25%. So that's using the lookup tables in Photoshop. They add that beautiful dramatic sort of cinematic edge to your images, as long as the images are great to start with. If the image is terrible, then a lookup table may not rescue it. Sometimes it can help, but it's probably not going to rescue it. So that's playing around with that. So they are non-destructive, so you can add them on, you can add them off, and look at the difference it has made in that image. It is really quite beautiful and dramatic. So let's go have a little look at what you can do in Luminar Neo. Okay, so I've grabbed the same image, same starting point, and I've jumped over to Luminar Neo. Now we're not going to worry about any of the presets. I'm just going to go into edit. And what you are looking for is mood. So they hide their lookup tables in mood. So if you click on mood, it will open it up so that you've got choose LUT. So there are some that come with it. So there's some somatic ones, creative ones, cross-processing, things like that that come with it. You can also get more lookup tables and custom ones and things like that. So let's just have a little look. If you hover over these, oh, look at what it does in that Monterey, Miami, Memphis. If you go into portrait toning, if you go into cinematic toning, you've got some of these as well. Quite like that Anaheim, and you can adjust the strength of it, so you can have it at like 25%, 50% and all the rest of it. You can play around with the contrast, and you can play around with the saturation. You can also come into masking. Now her skin is quite yellow here, so I'm going to come in with the brush and I'm going to erase so this is before and this is afterwards. So I have put some more cinematic adjustments into it. I can add even further if I want to. It's made it very, very red. Again, non-destructive. You can see where you want it applied and where you don't by adding a mask in. And there you have it. So that has reduced the variance in the reds. So even the tattoos on her leg did make some of the skin a little bit yellow. So I'm just going to reduce it off there just a little bit. So that's it. So that is how you can use mood or lookup tables in Luminar Neo as well. You can also stack your lookup tables in Luminar Neo as well. The trick is that you have to sort of get out of that edit and then go back into it again, if that makes sense. So I have found if you click on something else and then come back into mood and click on it, you can do it again. So you can add two of them. So that's another one that I've just put on, and then you've got the original one that I put on here before, and of course you can add masks and things like that to it. So that's pretty much all there is to lookup tables. You can go in depth, you can go and buy them, check for reputable sources online, don't just willy-nilly go and buy stuff, but check out what you've got in your software first, because you can do some amazing things with what's already supplied. I rarely go beyond what is available already in Luminar Neo or Photoshop. So remember, a lookup table goes beyond filters. It actually works within the image as opposed to, you know, colors or sliders or whatever just being dumped on top. You can play with sliders till the cows come home, and you're never going to, well, you're not likely to get the same sort of look that you do with lookup tables. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to leave a message in the comments, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time on YouTube. Bye.